Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
Have you ever wondered why your dreams feel alive in the morning, yet buried by regret at night? What if the greatest danger to your future isn't failure, but the small, unnoticed choices you make each day? And what if hidden habits are silently draining your focus, stealing your time, and burying your potential before it ever has a chance to grow? These are the silent destroyers of progress. They hide in plain sight, shaping your life in ways you don't even realize. But once you uncover them, you can never go back, and once you break them, your life transforms forever. If you're tired of repeating the same cycle, this is where it finally ends. In the next few moments, you'll uncover the habits that quietly ruin your progress and learn how to break free for good. First, quit procrastinating. Understand this clearly. Procrastination isn't just a harmless delay. It's a silent thief stealing your destiny. Every time you push aside an important task, your potential slips away, drop by drop. This isn't simple postponement. It's surrender. Each time you whisper, "I'll do it tomorrow," you hand your dream over to time, and time doesn't wait, doesn't forgive, and never returns. Minutes turn into hours, hours into days, and before you know it, years have passed while your greatest ambitions remain untouched. These lost moments compound like interest, eroding what you could have built. The people who shaped history didn't wait for perfect conditions, they created them. They knew that waiting for everything to align was a luxury ambition could never afford. Instead, they pressed forward with whatever resources were available, turning limitations into launching points. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He didn't wait for inspiration to strike like lightning. He showed up every single day, working with what he had, chasing the glow of his vision in the dark. His relentless experimentation, testing thousands of materials before finding the right filament, shows the power of consistent effort over occasional bursts of motivation. His laboratory wasn't a place for rare flashes of genius, but a workshop of daily determination. If you keep postponing the very actions that could make you great, you'll eventually wake up surrounded not by results, but by regrets. The tragedy of procrastination isn't just missed opportunities, it's the painful realization of what you could have become. Those who continually delay meaningful action don't just forfeit achievements, they forfeit their own potential self. The cure is action, not endless planning, not preparing, not perfecting, but simply starting. The momentum created by beginning, even imperfectly, produces energy that carries you forward. What once felt impossible often shrinks into manageable steps once you're in motion. That mountain towering in the distance reveals itself as a climb of smaller steps once you begin. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's the daily choice to honor your commitments, especially when motivation fades. Discipline doesn't demand extraordinary willpower. It thrives on systems that make progress inevitable. Breaking big tasks into smaller ones, removing distractions, and building accountability are the tools. Deep down, you already know what needs to be done. Deep down, beneath all the excuses and rationalizations, clarity is already there. The problem isn't a lack of knowledge, but the reluctance to face temporary discomfort. Your intuition knows the next step. The challenge is finding the courage to take it. You don't need more time, you need more courage. Courage to begin right now while others hesitate. Starting before you feel ready is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Those who change the world don't wait for fear to fade. They act in spite of it, letting purpose outweigh their doubts. Success doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards action. It isn't about intention, but initiation. Your future doesn't depend on flawless plans, but on what you're willing to do today. So, will you keep waiting for the perfect moment, or will you realize that this imperfect moment already holds enough power to begin? Your choice today shapes your reality tomorrow. Choose action, and watch doors you thought were locked begin to open. Now, quit fearing failure. What if I told you that every person you admire has failed more times than you've even tried? Fear of failure is nothing more than a prison of your own making, and the key has always been in your hand. Each doubt, each memory of past disappointment, each imagined humiliation, these are the bricks you use to build that prison. But the door is unlocked. Failure is not your enemy. it is your teacher. The world doesn't remember how many times someone fell. It remembers the moment they rose and refused to fall again. Abraham Lincoln knew this truth well. He lost election after election, failed in business, endured personal tragedy, and battled depression. Yet he never quit. In the end, he rose to become one of the most respected leaders in history. Why? Because failure didn't frighten him, it fueled him. The shift from seeing failure as an end to viewing it as a step forward is what separates the great achievers from those who only dream. When Thomas Edison was asked about his thousands of failed attempts to invent the light bulb, he simply said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each setback eliminated an option, bringing him closer to the breakthrough that would light the world. Fear of failure creates hesitation, and hesitation is deadly. It paralyzes progress, drains passion, and dulls your instinct to create, explore, and grow. The energy meant to propel you forward instead freezes you in place, lost in overthinking or endless planning without action. Dreams remain dreams, and potential stays locked away, as the gap between who you are and who you could be grows wider every day. But failure is not the end. It's feedback. It's redirection. Every stumble carries valuable lessons no success alone could ever teach. The entrepreneur discovers which models don't work. The artist learns what techniques don't align with their vision, and the scientist identifies hypotheses that fall short. This knowledge, purchased with the price of failure, becomes the very foundation of future triumph. If your dream is worth having, then it is worth failing for. The size of your goal must always outweigh the sting of your setbacks. True achievement demands risk, and risk always carries the chance of falling short. By embracing this reality, you free yourself from perfectionism and open the door to bold pursuits. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path to it. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall again and again, yet no one calls it failure. We see it for what it is, progress in disguise. Carry this wisdom into every pursuit. Each setback builds resilience, sharpens your technique, and strengthens the mental toughness needed for lasting success. So when fear whispers, "What if you fail?" smile and answer, "Then I'll learn, adjust, and try again better." This shift turns failure from a burden into ballast, grounding you in purpose while keeping you free to move toward your highest goals. What once felt like a prison can become the very key to your freedom. Now, it's time to quit negative self-talk. You are always listening to yourself, but what are you saying? Most people lose the battle in their minds long before they ever step into the real fight. The words you repeat internally, whether spoken aloud or in silence, become the script of your destiny. If you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, eventually you'll stop trying. Focus only on your weaknesses, and they will grow stronger while your strengths wither away. Think of your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. Will you plant weeds, or will you cultivate flowers? Your thoughts are not passive. They actively create your reality. Change your inner dialogue, and your outer world will shift with it. Self-belief isn't arrogance, it's a responsibility. Because if you don't believe in your dream, why should anyone else? One of history's great steel magnates once said, "As a man thinks, so he becomes." This wasn't just a poetic idea. It was practical wisdom about mental discipline. The words you use shape your perception, and your perception becomes your reality. This is not mystical, it's psychological truth. The stories you tell yourself dictate how you see opportunities, challenges, and the path ahead. A setback can either be a stepping stone or a stopping point. It all depends on the story you tell yourself. Start today with a simple shift. Replace "I can't" with "I will figure it out." Change "I always fail" into "I'm still learning." These are not empty affirmations, but recalibrations of your mental framework. When you speak power into your life instead of poison, everything else begins to follow. Think about how many dreams have died, not because they were impossible, but because someone convinced themselves they were. Your potential isn't truly limited by circumstances, but by the way you interpret them. Success and failure often hinge not on opportunity, but on outlook. Negative self-talk usually runs on autopilot for years, silently shaping your choices. Breaking free requires awareness and intention. Each time you notice yourself slipping into limiting thoughts, stop, pause, and redirect. This isn't about denying reality. It's about choosing which part of reality to emphasize. The greatest achievers face the same doubts and obstacles as everyone else. What set them apart was their refusal to let inner dialogue script a story of defeat. Instead, they crafted narratives of persistence and possibility. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's vividly imagined and what's actually experienced. If you tell yourself long enough that something is impossible, your mind will create evidence to prove it. But when you affirm your ability with conviction, your mind begins finding ways to make it true. Your life always moves in the direction of your dominant thoughts. So guard them carefully. Protect your mental garden from the weeds of doubt and fear. Nurture the seeds of possibility and progress, because the most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you're having with yourself right now. Quit surrounding yourself with toxic influences. Look closely. Who do you spend the most time with? Are they fueling your growth or feeding your doubts? Are they lifting you higher or slowly pulling you down? Iron sharpens iron, but what happens if your circle is rusting you instead? Many dreams have died, not from lack of talent, but from the wrong associations. Henry Ford, in his early days, was mocked for his ambitious ideas. Yet he chose wisely, surrounding himself with people who not only believed in his vision, but also in his ability to bring it to life. That belief became his fuel. If your conversations are dominated by gossip, complaints, and limitations, you're consuming poison every day. But if your circle speaks of ideas, growth, and execution, you're feeding your soul. The quality of your discussions directly shapes the quality of your thinking, and that ultimately determines the quality of your life. Think about it. Some interactions leave you energized and motivated, while others drain you, leaving you discouraged and questioning your path. That isn't coincidence. It's the power of environment. Research shows we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Their habits creep into our own. Their mindset infiltrates our thinking. Their excuses can become our excuses, or their courage can become our inspiration. This isn't about arrogance or abandonment. You don't need to hate those you outgrow, but you must be brave enough to outgrow them. Every relationship serves a purpose, even if that purpose eventually comes to an end. The hardest growth often comes when we realize that some relationships, ones we may have cherished for years, are now holding us back. The comfort they bring slowly becomes a cage, preventing us from stepping into the discomfort that sparks true progress. You cannot rise while clinging to what weighs you down. Every great achiever has faced this crossroads, where loyalty to their potential had to outweigh loyalty to stagnant connections. This doesn't mean cutting people off coldly. It means gradually investing more time with those who challenge and inspire you, while allowing distance from those who don't. It means having honest conversations about your changing needs and boundaries. Choose your environment as if your life depends on it, because it does. The energy around you becomes the energy within you. Your psychological ecosystem determines which thoughts take root, which ambitions flourish, and which beliefs die. Protect your peace, preserve your purpose, and surround yourself with greatness. Seek out those who have already achieved what you aspire to, and step into communities where excellence is the standard, not the exception. Pruning may feel painful, but it leads to growth. By curating your circle, you aren't being selfish. You're ensuring you can give your greatest gifts to the world. The right circle won't just support your dreams, they'll expand them. They'll challenge your excuses, test your limits, and reflect back a stronger version of yourself. Quit comparing yourself to others. The quickest way to kill your joy is by measuring it against someone else's highlight reel. Your path is designed for you alone. No 2 people begin at the same place, with the same resources, scars, or calling. So why sabotage your spirit by measuring your progress against someone else's pace? Theodore Roosevelt was right when he said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." The moment you compare, you take your eyes off your own mission. Picture a racehorse constantly glancing at the lanes beside him. He stumbles, slows down, and eventually falls behind. Winners focus forward, and so must you. Social media often shows only the highlight reel, creating the illusion that everyone is thriving but you. Yet behind every story of success lies untold chapters of doubt, rejection, and persistence. The overnight success was built over years. The perfect relationship endured storms you never saw. The dream career followed countless failures that never made it to the feed. Your journey has its own season. Some flowers bloom in spring, others in summer or fall. Would you ask a rose to bloom in January? Of course not. Its nature dictates its timing. The same is true for your life's unfolding. Trust your process. Celebrate progress over perfection. Focus on how far you've come instead of where others are. The only person you need to outgrow is who you were yesterday. Small, steady improvements compound over time. Each choice to show up, to try again, to learn and grow. These are the true measures of success. When comparison creeps in, redirect your focus. What can I celebrate about my journey today? What strength do I have now that I didn't before? Which small win deserves recognition? Your life is not meant to be a copy of someone else's sketch. It is an original canvas, waiting for your authentic expression. When you focus inward, you awaken your own excellence, uncovering strengths and possibilities that would never appear if you were busy imitating others. Your unique mix of experiences, perspectives, and talents creates a value that no one else can offer. So stop looking left and right. Keep your eyes fixed on your own path, your heart anchored in purpose, and your steps aligned with your vision. Victory doesn't come from chasing another's race. It comes from mastering your own. True success is found in becoming fully yourself, not in being a second-rate version of someone else. Run your race, paint your canvas, write your story, and embrace joy in the journey that belongs to you alone. Quit overcommitting. Overcommitting is the silent saboteur of both productivity and peace. Each time you say yes to every request or opportunity, you dilute your focus and edge closer to burnout. Your time and energy are limited resources, and when you overload your schedule, you sacrifice not only the quality of your work, but also your well-being. Often, we fear missing opportunities, disappointing others, or appearing incapable. Yet in trying to do everything, we end up accomplishing little of true significance while draining ourselves in the process. Consider the entrepreneur who, eager to please every client, took on more projects than manageable, resulting in missed deadlines and a damaged reputation. What began as ambition soon turned into overwhelm, anxiety, and eventual collapse. By being selective with commitments, they could have delivered excellence on a few projects rather than mediocrity on many. This same pattern appears everywhere. The employee who joins every committee, the parent who signs up for every school activity, the friend who never declines an invitation. All risk stretching themselves so thin that quality fades and joy disappears. Learning to say no isn't rejecting opportunities, it's affirming your true priorities. Every commitment is an investment of your most precious resource, time, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Before saying yes to new responsibilities, pause and ask yourself, does this align with my core values and goals? Will it move me closer to what truly matters? Can I take this on without sacrificing quality or well-being? If the answer is no, it's wiser to decline, politely, but firmly. A clear no today can prevent resentment, disappointment, and even failure tomorrow. Evaluate every commitment against your priorities. If it doesn't align, or if it stretches you too thin, it's best to step back. You don't need lengthy explanations. A simple, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't take this on right now," is enough. Most people respect honesty and clear boundaries far more than reluctant agreements. Strategic refusal begins with self-awareness. Identify your non-negotiables. The activities that protect your health, relationships, and essential responsibilities, and guard them closely. Then, be realistic about your capacity for anything extra. Just as you wouldn't overload a boat past its limit, don't overload yourself beyond what you can sustain. The truth is, the most successful people aren't the ones who do the most. They're the ones who focus on what matters most. Ironically, every firm no creates room for more powerful yes. With energy and attention preserved, you can engage deeply with the commitments that truly count. Instead of spreading yourself thin, this focus leads to greater impact, deeper satisfaction, and the steady pace needed for long-term success. In a world that glorifies busyness and constant activity, choosing deliberate engagement over blind commitment becomes an act of self-respect. By mastering the art of saying no, you regain control of your time, energy, and the direction of your life. Quit dwelling on the past. The past should be a place of reference, not residence. Obsessing over mistakes or missed opportunities ties you to moments that no longer serve you. When you remain in yesterday's shadows, you miss today's light and tomorrow's promise. Think of the inventor who faced countless failed prototypes. Had he fixated on those failures, he would never have achieved the breakthrough that changed entire industries. Thomas Edison tested thousands of materials before finding the right filament for the electric light bulb. "I have not failed," he said. "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each attempt was not a defeat, but data. Stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. This shift in perspective is essential for anyone striving toward meaningful goals. Failures and setbacks are inevitable companions on the path to excellence. What separates the successful from the stagnant is not the absence of mistakes, but the way they interpret them. The past becomes valuable information, not heavy baggage. Every experience, whether a victory or a disappointment, holds lessons to guide future decisions. Your history contains wisdom if you meet it with curiosity rather than criticism. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How might it prepare me for what lies ahead? These questions turn even painful experiences into fuel for growth. But the mind that clings to old wounds builds a prison of its own making. Psychological research shows that constant rumination fuels anxiety and depression. Your mental energy is limited, and every moment spent reliving regrets steals from the energy you need to create future success. By loosening your grip on the past, you free yourself to seize present opportunities and shape a future aligned with your aspirations. This release isn't about forgetting or dismissing what happened. It's about changing your relationship with those events. Acknowledge them, take the lessons they offered, then direct your focus forward. Practical strategies can strengthen this forward-looking mindset. Practice present moment awareness by engaging fully in what you're doing instead of mentally drifting into the past. When regrets resurface, acknowledge them briefly, then gently return to the now. Writing about past experiences can help process them, but once done, symbolically close that chapter. Each day is a fresh canvas, and you hold the brush to paint your destiny. This isn't just poetic, it reflects neuroscience. Your brain can form new pathways with repeated thoughts and actions, meaning yesterday's patterns don't dictate tomorrow's possibilities. When the past becomes a reference point rather than a residence, creativity expands, decisions improve, and resilience strengthens. Without the burden of yesterday's disappointments, you move faster toward opportunities and respond with greater adaptability. Remember, your history shaped who you are, but it doesn't define who you must become. The chapters already written inform your story, but each morning offers blank pages waiting for your authorship. Choose to honor your past without living in it. Take its lessons, acknowledge its influence, and then step boldly into the present, the only place where real growth and change can occur. When you do this, yesterday becomes your teacher, not your home. Quit neglecting your health. Your body is the vessel that carries you through life's journey, and ignoring its needs is like setting out on a long voyage with a damaged ship. When you place deadlines above dinner, meetings over movement, and productivity before rest, you sabotage the very vehicle meant to carry you toward your ambitions. Health is not a luxury, it's a necessity. In a culture that glorifies exhaustion and praises those who push beyond limits, this truth often feels counterintuitive. Yet evidence is clear. Sustainable achievement comes only from sustainable practices. The human body, this intricate system of cells and signals, can only perform at its best when its basic needs are respected. Regular exercise, balanced nutrition, and restorative sleep form the foundation of lasting success. Exercise strengthens not just muscles, but focus, creativity, and emotional stability. Nutrition fuels energy, repair, and optimal brain performance. Sleep consolidates learning, restores function, and regulates hormones critical for motivation and decision-making. The belief that self-care slows achievement is a dangerous misconception. True productivity doesn't come from endless hours of work. It emerges from the rhythm of focused effort paired with deliberate renewal. The most effective professionals aren't the ones who grind endlessly, but those who work in harmony with their natural rhythms. By investing in your health, you sharpen focus, strengthen resilience, and expand your capacity to face challenges. A well-cared-for body handles stress more effectively, recovers faster from setbacks, and keeps the mind clear even under pressure. These advantages directly translate into higher performance and greater longevity in every pursuit. Start with simple, practical habits. Schedule exercise as non-negotiable appointments. Prepare meals that energize rather than drain you. And keep consistent sleep and wake times that honor your body's need for restoration. Small adjustments, repeated consistently, compound into extraordinary results. True success is built on the solid foundation of good health. The achievements that endure, those that create real impact and fulfillment, require not just brief sparks of brilliance, but sustained effort over years and decades. Seen from this perspective, health is not a luxury. It is essential infrastructure. Your relationship with your body reflects your relationship with your purpose. To neglect it is to weaken the very vessel carrying you toward your aspirations. When you honor your body with the same seriousness you give your ambitions, you begin to align with the integrated system you truly are. Care for it diligently, fuel it wisely, and allow it the rest it needs. In doing so, you prepare the vessel that will carry you toward your greatest achievements. By caring for your health, you don't sacrifice success. You create the very conditions that make it possible and sustainable. Quit resisting change. Change is the only constant in life, and resisting it is like trying to hold back the tide, an effort doomed to fail. When we cling to old patterns out of fear or comfort, we miss the revolutionary opportunities that define this transformative era. The paradox of human existence is clear. We crave stability, yet growth demands movement. Embracing change is what opens doors to innovation, progress, and possibility. The challenge is to shift your perspective, to see change not as a threat, but as a catalyst for development. This mindset doesn't erase the discomfort of upheaval, whether it's social change, cultural movements, or technological revolutions, but it reframes them as necessary growing pains rather than signs of collapse. Just as President Kennedy once dared America to reach the moon within a decade, personal growth too requires vision and courage to face the unknown. Adaptability is the true skill of our age. While technical knowledge may quickly become outdated, the capacity to embrace new paradigms ensures you stay relevant and resilient. By letting go of resistance, you release the weight of self-imposed limits and step into limitless potential. When you free your mind from old conventions, you gain the ability to explore new frontiers, just as Jacques Cousteau revealed the hidden depths of the ocean and astronauts ventured into space. Your journey toward personal excellence is shaped by the conscious choice to release what holds you back and embrace what moves you forward. This doesn't mean accepting every change blindly. Not all change is progress, as history reminds us. It means approaching transformation with the same curiosity that launched the first satellite into orbit and placed the first man on the moon within a single decade. Step forward with confidence, knowing that each decision brings you closer to the fulfillment you seek. The road ahead may not look like the one you once envisioned, but it can lead to destinations more extraordinary than you ever planned. Think of Bob Dylan shifting from folk to electric guitar despite resistance. His adaptability allowed him to transcend expectations rather than be confined by them. In nature, it isn't the strongest or even the smartest species that survive, but those most responsive to change. The same truth applies to your personal and professional life. By making peace with impermanence and learning to find comfort in discomfort, you transform change from something that happens to you into something that happens for you, a powerful ally on your path to greatness. So, embrace change with courage, let it shape your growth, and walk boldly toward your highest potential. Wishing you health, happiness, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.